Hi folks, so repotting continues. Today I'm going to work on my Western Hemlock, which I dug up from a national forest in 2022. I'm going to move it from this rectangular pot to this oval pot. So I have not lifted this tree out of this pot. It's been here for 3 years. And I'd be content to leave it here, except I want this pot for my Douglas fir I'm about to pot up. So I'm gonna lift this out. And so I have been doing partial repottings on this. So what I mean is, when I collected this, I kept most of the forest soil in the root ball. There was space on the edges, and I put bonsai soil on the edges here. And then every spring, I've been just replacing like 10 to 15% of the soil, just excavating and replacing it with bonsai soil. So now about maybe half, or even maybe a little more than half of the soil is probably bonsai soil. Although I suspect there's actually probably forest soil on the bottom here. I'm kind of interested to see what it looks like. All right, there that goes. So yeah, this is a nice big pot. I think that will work well for my Douglas fir. And so here we go. Have a look. So there's lots of roots in here, but I also have a lot of stuff growing on the top here. So I am gonna take most of this stuff off the top, I think. Half of these plants are stuff that, actually I shouldn't say half, most of these plants are just plants from the forest. Native forest plants. Actually, I don't know if they're invasive or native, but a lot of the moss is just grew up. This, I don't know what this is. It's woody. I think it might actually be hawthorn, a native hawthorn. I'm not sure. Here's another little one of those hawthorns. It's actually kind of a neat little plant. So I'll save this moss too. But yeah, this is a nice little plant. I'll keep this in the shade. As is this one. I kind of been pruning these like bonsai. So I might just plant them in my garden box in case I want to do something with them later. I don't know. And then this right here, this plant, I really love it. It's got these kind of dark, deep red flowers. It's saxifrage. And I did plant this in here. And it's kind of an alpine plant. Good for like trough gardens. I also just like the way it works in this planting. And I might end up planting some of this back in there in the new pot. We'll see. Also, this is a yew. I have a yew here. I actually put it there. This is a Western red cedar. That is a volunteer. So I'm just taking the stuff from on top. So with this being a Yamadori and being a conifer, what I didn't do when I collected it was completely bare root the tree. I actually left the root ball quite intact. The soil it was in was quite loose though and nice, so it a lot of it did fall off. Let's see how the bottom looks. Alright, so I think I'm going to go plant those few little plants that I want to keep before they get dried out. I'm just going to plant them in my garden box. Alright, so the work continues. I went and planted those few trees and some of the saxifrage. Alright, so I'm going to clear some of this away and keep at it. But it's a really dense, I mean, as opposed to my spruce root ball that I just worked on, which was mostly pretty much just bonsai soil. This one is really dense because it has so much of that clay soil in it. And this is unknown for me, you know. I know people work with Western Hemlock. There seems to be more mountain hemlock than Western Hemlock in bonsai culture. I know people work with it, but we'll see. You know, I'm reducing the roots. I'm being pretty rough on them. I'm just going for it, and we'll just see how it does. I mean, I think it'll be fine, but it's an unknown. It might resent all this root work. Yeah, but this soil has a lot of. It's actually pretty. It's got clay, the native soil. It also kind of has this sandy consistency. Thankfully, the bottom of it, it's been pretty easy to get this flat. I don't remember this when I potted it, that it is a pretty flat root ball as it is. And maybe that's just a growth characteristic of Western Hemlock, that they maybe don't send down deep roots, but maybe send out more surface roots. I don't know. But it's going pretty well. I do have a big root right here. I know I want to get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and just prune that off. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and clear off all this again. Okay, I think I'm going to stop it here. I've taken quite a bit off. There's still a little bit of clay in there, but not much really. I haven't disturbed the core of it. But this is all I want to do to it. So I'm just gonna turn off the hangy guys. Now let's see. I think it's gonna fit just fine in here, yeah. Just fine. Alright, so here's what I got. I like it. This pot shape is so much better, and mainly the depth. This other pot, you can see how deep that was. And you know, that was by design. I wanted to give it plenty of room to recover, but now that it's recovered for a few years, we're gonna try this. And I hope that root work I just did will be okay. For some reason Bonsai Mirai, Ryan says, Ryan Neal, kill it or make it a bonsai. I gotta just move it along, get the pot looking better, more appropriate to the tree. But I think this pot will suit this tree quite well for the next 5 years. Okay, so now I got a side again potting angle, and I don't think I'm gonna change much at all. I don't want to like lean it a crazy way. And centered in the pot or not? Yeah, you know, I'm actually thinking pretty much center. Part of that's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna wire the branches again eventually. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go with it, but it's pretty much just an upright tree. And I have it really, it just lends itself to a kind of deciduous form. That's why I have it styled that way. All right, I'm gonna put some bonsai soil in there. All right, so I've Looked at the tree for quite a while, and yeah, I've decided definitely I just want center. I'm going center. So now time to fill it in. So it's complete. I'm liking the way it's looking in the new pot. And I kind of did what I did with the first collection potting. I removed a lot of the forest soil, but probably not all of it, but quite a bit of it. Put bonsai soil in. Honestly, this is kind of uncharted territory for me. I've now successfully collected quite a few native trees, but I realized this is like the first time I have done a repotting of one of those trees after initial collection. So we'll see how it does. Maybe I wasn't aggressive enough to getting more forest soil out, but I don't think so. I think this tree does fine having pretty wet roots, to be honest. But I think it'll actually do better eventually. Maybe not this year, but next year I think it'll be much better off for having more bonsai soil rather than that forest soil in it. I couldn't help it. I had to put some of the saxifrage back in because it's been in with this tree for the last 2 years at least. I really like this plant. I did just put some of the moss up top, but got rid of a lot of those weeds and other trees that were growing in here. And while I was putting the moss back on, I kind of started digging more towards the base of the tree and uncovered quite a bit more of this nabari, actually a lot more. And it's a really, really interesting nabari. It's actually got a kind of, this tree, if you can see here, it has a kind of a flat trunk, so maybe not ideal, but unique. And it's a collected tree, so you just kind of get what you get. I just really liked the branches of this tree. I like the branch structure, and that's why I chose it. Plus it had been cut down repeatedly for some reason. Anyways, but it has this neat swoop actually that I kind of like. So very odd nabari for sure, but I like it. And I think it looks actually quite good from the front view here. I'll show some close-ups of that. Anyways, so I'm going to keep this tree now, on sunny days like this, I'm going to keep this tree in the shade for the next at least 2 weeks, probably more like a month. When it is cloudy, I think I'll leave it on the benches, and we are going to get, I think, a week of like clouds here pretty soon, so I'll just keep it out on the benches. But for days like this, definitely the shade so it can recover and the foliage won't get burned. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I am actually really curious to see how this tree fares now, if it's going to grow really great this year, if it's going to kind of lag behind a little bit. I'm not sure. Like I said, uncharted territory, so we'll see how it responds. Anyways, until next time, happy bonsai.